America is facing a crisis that few fully grasp. Its dominance in technology, finance, and talent is under severe threat. Beijing has banned domestic firms from buying AI chips produced by Nvidia, one of California's most valuable tech giants. At the same time, the president has announced a $100,000 fee on new H-1B visa applications, redirecting the world's brightest engineers away from the United States. Global investors are jittery as the dollar shows signs of weakness. These events are connected shocks threatening to reshape global influence. The critical question: if America cannot protect its technology, money, and talent, what foundation remains for global leadership? The battle between the U.S. and China is no longer hidden behind trade talks. It is happening in plain sight, striking at America's most vulnerable points. Trump promised strength, technological dominance, a secure dollar, and control over the brightest minds. Instead, America is losing ground, while China moves with speed, precision, and strategy. Consider the chip war. Beijing's ban on Nvidia chips cut off one of America's most profitable markets overnight. The decision rattled Wall Street, wiping billions from U.S. companies in a single day. While American firms mourn losses, Huawei introduced a breakthrough system fusing thousands of its own AI chips into a massive computing unit. China is building an ecosystem Washington cannot control, and the challenges extend far beyond semiconductors. The dollar is under pressure as China and its partners shift away from U.S. assets. Investors are on edge globally, and Beijing knows how to feed that anxiety. Trump's visa crackdown is driving engineers, scientists, and innovators toward China and other rising economies. The United States is losing markets, confidence, and the human capital that fuels innovation. Leaders in Washington may speak of victories, but reality is different. This is more than a trade quarrel. It marks the erosion of U.S. leadership. Each decision today sets the stage for tomorrow's global balance of power. The chip war has entered a dangerous phase. Anyone who believed the conflict was slowing down will see it is escalating. Beijing acted decisively at the heart of America's technology sector. China's internet regulator banned domestic firms from buying Nvidia's AI chips, including the RTX Pro 6000D. Nvidia's stock fell 3% in a single day. While that seems modest, China represents 1/8 of Nvidia's global revenue, roughly $20 billion. Losing this market shakes confidence and exposes one of America's most successful tech firms. Beijing's reasoning is clear: security and independence. China refuses to let AI, industries, or military systems depend on U.S.-controlled semiconductors. Imagine the risk if fighter jets, robotics, or supply chains relied on chips that could be cut off instantly. For China, such dependence is unacceptable. Washington misread the situation. U.S. policymakers assumed China's AI ambitions would rely on Nvidia, and sanctions would cripple Huawei. Instead, restrictions gave Beijing justification to act. Framed as patriotic necessity, the ban allowed China to close its doors while rallying domestic support. Trump's tariffs made this politically easier for Chinese firms. The consequences are severe. American firms assumed China's appetite for Nvidia chips would continue for years. Overnight, a $50 billion market was locked away, leaving U.S. companies excluded. The timing was strategic, coinciding with trade negotiations. China is showing leverage. Beijing remains open to dialogue, balancing firmness with flexibility, highlighting Washington's miscalculations. For years, U.S. policymakers believed controlling semiconductor exports equaled controlling China's technological rise. Reality proved otherwise. Nvidia's dependence on Chinese buyers runs deeper than China's reliance on Nvidia. The ban confirms this. China prepared for years, investing in domestic production, scaling designs, and building alternatives. These may not match the fastest chips, but they power national projects and remain beyond U.S. control. What seems sudden is years of planning, putting Trump in a strategic corner. The trade war was meant to weaken Beijing, yet China can continue without U.S. chips. While American companies struggle, the real question is how to contain the damage America has done to itself. Beijing's ban did not slow innovation. Huawei responded with superport clusters, linking thousands of Ascend AI chips to function as a single computing brain, scalable to millions. Instead of competing directly with Nvidia's fastest chips, Huawei bypassed the contest, using scale and coordination to create a powerful system. Shenzhen-made Ascend chips are cheaper than Nvidia designs in Arizona or Taiwan. U.S. tariffs and export bans inadvertently fueled Huawei's innovation. Political support, financial incentives, and urgency accelerated research. Huawei emerged competitive and resilient. China's tech giants, from Alibaba to Baidu, now have a reliable domestic chip supply, no longer dependent on Nvidia. Losing chips is damaging, but challenges to the U.S. go beyond technology. The dollar, central to American financial power, is under pressure. Global investors hedge against it, showing fragility. Analysts at 91 Asset Management estimate $1 trillion could be added in new hedges, restoring levels from a decade ago. Consider Japan. While the S&P 500 rose 13% this year, returns converted to yen fell to 6%. In Britain, returns dropped to 4%. And in the Eurozone, investors may even lose money. Only 3% of foreign-held U.S. assets are protected, leaving roughly $30 trillion exposed. If the dollar weakens beyond thresholds, massive sell-offs could trigger inflation and undermine confidence. Layer China in. Chinese exporters could repatriate $300 billion into yuan, avoiding the dollar. The conflict now reshapes global finance. Trump's administration adds another challenge. The $100,000 H-1B visa fee targets the talent U.S. tech companies rely on. Giants like Google, Amazon, Microsoft, and Intel depend on foreign engineers. The sudden increase strains innovation. Around 75% of H-1B holders are from India, 12% from China, the rest from Canada, South Korea, and others. Employers must absorb cost or limit foreign hires. Many will cut back, leaving gaps domestic graduates cannot fill. Talent increasingly moves to China. Engineers who once aimed for Silicon Valley now look to Shenzhen, Beijing, and Shanghai, where opportunities grow and barriers are lower. U.S. universities may see enrollment fall as foreign students perceive fewer post-graduation opportunities. Silicon Valley may no longer be the singular dream, just one option among many. Washington defends the visa rules as protecting domestic workers. Experts warn the U.S. does not produce enough engineers to meet demand. Limiting immigration slows innovation, delays projects, and pushes research overseas. Wall Street notices. Goldman Sachs warned employees and clients of risks. Both Silicon Valley and financial markets see the same danger. The U.S. talent pipeline is being redirected, and China stands to gain the most. The stakes are clear. If the U.S. cannot protect technology, money, or talent, what remains for leadership? The erosion is accelerating. Each decision magnifies the next. This is more than geopolitics. It is a strategic economic crisis in real time. To understand it, follow three pillars: tech, finance, and human capital. China strengthens all three, while U.S. policies weaken them. The chip war shows the challenge's depth. Nvidia's ban, Huawei's clusters, and China's domestic ecosystem illustrate how pressure on U.S. firms becomes long-term advantage for China. Wall Street reacts in days, but innovation, industrial capacity, and strategic autonomy are measured in years. Talent outflows due to visa policies exacerbate these risks. Technology, money, and human resources together shape global leadership. Each misstep amplifies the other. For the observer, the picture is stark. Technology, finance, and talent no longer flow only to America. Policies meant to strengthen the U.S. may empower competitors. China has turned challenges into opportunity, building resilience and strategic advantage. Huawei's clusters and domestic chip production, combined with global shifts away from the dollar, show power is no longer unilateral. The consequences for American businesses, investors, and policymakers are profound. America faces a multidimensional challenge: losing markets, losing talent, and losing financial stability. Trump's tariffs and visa policies have reshaped the landscape. China responds with strategy, speed, and foresight. U.S. leadership erosion is not inevitable, but without recalibration, the trajectory is alarming. Technology ecosystems take years to rebuild, confidence is fragile, and talent pipelines are easily redirected. Global power is being reshaped, and U.S. dominance is no longer guaranteed. The question is clear: how will America respond? Can policies reclaim advantage in technology, stabilize the dollar, and attract talent? Or will these shifts solidify, leaving competitors like China with lasting advantage? The answers are complex, but one fact is certain: the world is watching, and time is short. This is not a distant threat. It is happening now. Stay with me, subscribe, and let's break down how Trump's policies intersect with global power and how China is leveraging these moments for lasting influence. Technology, money, and talent, the three pillars of power, are at stake, and the U.S. cannot afford missteps. See you in the next one.